So I'm not going to lie here. The first time I saw Troy Fautanu line up at right tackle in the rookie minicamp this past weekend, I said, oh, okay, there it is. Offensive line's all set, all done. There goes the suspense. Game over. And I'm not so sure that's the case as I think about it a little further. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. The logic would dictate and seemingly verify what your eyes told you. If Fautanu is at right tackle, Broderick Jones is going to move over to the left side. Omar Khan said at the NFL Scouting Combine that Jones was going to end up there one way or the other at some point in his career. And then you look at the rest of it and you go, all right, you got veterans at both guard positions and you've got a rookie coming in, Zach Frazier as your center. There it is, all done. One problem, though. I've been covering this head coach a long time. And although he can surprise me, and he can surprise a lot of people, in different ways, he also has certain habits. And he follows his precedent more often than not. And if you can recall a scenario in which this head coach just kind of declared in advance that a rookie was going to start, and that rookie was essentially etched in stone to be there while another player gets moved to a position that he's yet to play really in the NFL, meaning Jones, of course, left tackle. Of course, he's done a ton of it in college. But then you're going to have one rookie, two, a second-year guy who's going to be at a new position, and three, a rookie at center. If you think that Mike Tomlin, of all people, is just going to say this is how it's going to be, and there'll be no competition, there'll be no drama, there'll be no nothing, you might be new to this whole Pittsburgh Steelers thing. I don't think that's going to even come close to happening. Entering a camp setting, not even really talking about, OTAs or even the mandatory minicamp. I'm talking about Latrobe. I think you're going to see, and it might be real, don't laugh it off, that Dan Moore is entered into a multiple way competition. Look, Dan knows and knows well that he's needed to make his game more versatile. He's needed to play both tackles. That's the best way for him to make sure that he maximizes his NFL career, whether it's in Pittsburgh or elsewhere. He also knows that the Steelers don't need to trade him. They didn't need to trade Kevin Dotson or Kendrick Green either. There was kind of that volunteer / hostages thing in the mix, although it wasn't anywhere near as dramatic as the one with Le'Veon Bell and others. But Dan has another year on his rookie contract. He's eminently affordable, even as a backup, as a double backup. But he also could win. Now look, nobody wants that. Not a single soul, except maybe Dan Moore's mom, if she's listening to this, would say, wow, it'd be great if Dan Moore beat one of these kids out, okay? But it's not the most inconceivable scenario to start out. We just saw it happen. We just saw Dan starting the entire season and Chuks Okorafor starting the first month of the season ahead of the kid. So the precedent is right there. Don't have to rewind very far. I think you could see, and now I'm going to take this across the line, a situation where Dan, and let's say, just for the heck of it, Spencer Anderson, the 7th rounder from last year, who was being utilized at all 5 positions, put into some kind of broader competition while understanding that Dan is an incumbent. Dan is an incumbent starter. Head coaches, assistant coaches, positional coaches, they value that sort of thing way more than you and I do, because they know what they've already seen on film, and they put a high price on that. Even if it's not the best film, they at least don't have to wonder if you're going to, take a leak down your own leg when you walk into a stadium on Sunday. So Dan's in that. What about Mason McCormick, who was moved from one guard to the other position? He was at right guard through the rookie minicamp. That immediately got the diehards, the ones who are really, really, really into this stuff, suggesting that he might compete with James Daniels. He won't do that. Daniels is going to make $8 million this year. But you throw him in as someone who competes at both of the guard positions and puts himself into the best spot where he could back up either Daniels or Isaac Seumalo, depending on need / injury / performance, who knows what. So from there, all you're missing, it seems, is a backup at center. Nate Herbig is still in the mix. Nate Herbig is someone whose name has come very easily, like that, off the lips of both Tomlin and Omar Khan this offseason. They seem to take him seriously, although they didn't really give him a chance at all to perform this past season. My point here is, you think you know who the starting 5 are. I happen to think they're the same starting 5, and I can promise you that there's one guy who's going to throw all kinds of flies into that ointment, and he's going to do it on purpose, and I won't have a problem with it. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar.
Today's J1Q comes from Darren, who says, after this recent wave of, dare I say, grocery bagger type wide receivers who aren't named George Pickens and Roman Wilson, is it safe to say that Omar Khan is starting to show his first ever glaring weakness in seeking receiver talent? Or am I just too worked up on expecting the Steelers to bring in a star at the position, as I've been waiting for a month now? I need help sorting this out. Well, the first thing, Darren, is, what's the date? May 14. They haven't even conducted the first OTA session, let alone mandatory minicamp, let alone a trobe, let alone 3 preseason games, and there's a long way to go. And for the caliber of player that I think we're all talking about here, yes, it would matter to have that individual in the fold. It would matter to have that player becoming comfortable with Russell Wilson, to a lesser extent Justin Fields, Arthur Smith, the playbook, and everything else, because you're talking about someone who, if you think about it, would probably be your leader in catches. Is that fair to suggest? I'd love to be wrong about this. I don't think of George Pickens as a volume receiver. I don't think of him as someone who's going to, be getting 10, 12 catches a game. I understand he's capable of it, and I understand that the Steelers absolutely should be capable of putting together a script for such a thing. It doesn't mean it'll happen. And I don't know that Roman Wilson is that player either, and if he is, that he would be that as a rookie. I know everyone is hanging on to Mike Tomlin's line way back before the draft when he mentioned Puka Nacua as if that was someone the Steelers are specifically targeting. Not the player, obviously. That's property of the Rams. That'd be tampering. But someone in that mold. When in fact, what Tomlin was doing, and I was in the room, was referencing how the Rams were able to get him so late and so unheralded, which he was at the time, and yet he just stepped right onto the field and had a massive, massive impact in Los Angeles. That's the kind of player we're talking about. A volume receiver. I really think so. And as such, it's going to have to be someone who's pretty good at running routes. Going to have to be someone who's got some yak to him, yards after the catch. And, then there's also the very real possibility that they already have that player, that they believe they already have that player in Wilson. I need to see more. I'm not going to dismiss it. I just need to see more. A lot more than, a couple of walkthroughs at a rookie minicamp. But you're getting down on Omar here over this. Hey, long, long, long way to go. There's still cap money that can be moved. There's still trade capital. There's a lot of different ways to pull this off. I wouldn't be judging Omar on May the 14th. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow.